it's fun, and that's what this hobby's about.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And Luka will see you in the next video.
Absolutely. Probably about 10 years ago, I bought a. Sorry, everyone.
In fact, I loaned one of these to Rick Salvino when he was working on his Formula One car, and I said, "Yeah, can I get that back?" "No, you're not getting it back."
I knew a torch or a soldering iron wasn't going to cut it, so I did some research and ended up building a resistant soldering rig that was just perfect for that.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I watched your build on that Mustang to see what kind of pitfalls were going to come in. So.
Didn't really have any.
No, that's what I thought. I'm getting it.
Yeah, looks like a Ferrari. Oh, is that what's that there? A Ferrari there? Or?
Greg, you got a good eye. You have got an awesome eye. 330.
Oh, it looks good. It's my dog, white.
I could come in here and probably, paint a body and go, oh shit, I got fish eyes in this thing. Yeah, you know what? I'll carry it out to the old purple pond. Yeah. Drop it off into it, and I'll go and pull another kit, and I'll go, well, let's try this.
Exactly. What is that, like the fishing thing? Your worst day model building is better than your best day at work, right? That's it.
It's so true.
That was something that when I started watching your videos, I really liked your personality. I mean, you don't know nothing about Ed Roth, so you really, at this point, it's time to, back off, I think. But
well, I'm ignorant. I'm just so ignorant.
That's right, you're ignorant. Then you go Hollywood.
It's a good forum to do that, and to talk models, any type of models. I just like talking styrene, period.
Yeah, we like it. We're addicted. Well, hello, my fellow car modelers. How are you doing today? We are gonna scratch build a roll cage. That's what we're doing. As you can see right here, I only got a couple days to finish this thing. Our USAC build. So let's get the roll cage in this, and then we'll deal with the rest later. All right. So, starting it all off, let's first go with, I'm going to go ahead and pop the glass in here, okay, and I'm going to take the interior tub, see that, I'm putting the interior tub right where it belongs. Now that we got all that in there, that's just so we can get some measurements. We got to make sure that this is incorrectly in the right spot. There we go. This is just to get some measurements. What I like to use for my roll bar is I use the strip styrene from Evergreen. Right there. This is the part number, and what I use is solid. Sometimes I will use 212. Okay, 212 is just a bit smaller. Depends on what I'm building. But this is pretty good for a drag race car like this. This is pretty standard size roll bar for this kind of car. It's a brand new pack. I don't think I have a slit in it, so let me just kind of open this up a little bit. As I keep these hanging on a pegboard. I showed a little while ago at my old house how I have all my styrene all stocked. So we're going to take this here. And a couple ways you can do this. I'm a huge eyeball engineer. What the biggest measurement we got to get out of here is we got to measure basically from the floor to the roof here, where everything will clear. And what's nice about this kind of body, because the roof is so much smaller than the body, we can gain access to the interior straight down to kind of get kind of a measurement. If you want to stick something like, you can go like this and get your measurement, of course, the ruler. But what I like to do is I'll just flat out make sure everything is in its place too. I want to just take this and drop this down right about where the roll roll bar would be. And when I feel it hit the floor, let's put my thumb right there, and that's the height that we want that to be. And we'll take a marker and hit it like that. Now that that is done, we want to probably have that roll bar come up about right to there, the roof, and go across to about there, right where the roof starts to curl around. So basically, you want to get a measurement. We can do it from the top right here. That's when I will take my trusty dusty ruler here. This is a scale, you know, 1/4 inch equals a foot for 48 scale type thing. We have, there's our 24th scale, which is, do they even have a 25th? There's 25th. We're dealing with a 24th, but this really doesn't matter. So this is 24th right here. We'll go with that. It doesn't really matter that much, but I'm just going to go like this, and I record. It's about, whoops, I dropped that out of there. I would say right about there. If you can see our mark right here, and we want to go, this is where the bend will be, right at the top, and we want to go to right here at this mark is what I recorded it in 24 scale. A 1/2 inch is a foot, so it's not, that would be more like 1, 2, 3, 3.5, 3 3/4 foot. That seems to be what across that roof is where we want to go. So we're going to place another mark right there, and this, I'm going to get this measurement here and copy it. So from here to here, this mark right there, which is, would be 1, 2, 3 feet and 1/4 foot. That's what that would come out to for 24 scale. And we want to just transfer that measurement. I'm going to go right up to here, 1, 2, 3 and 1/4, and that right there, those 3 marks are what are important. Where we want to start with is, you want this mark that you made, this is basically the top of your bend, so you're actually going to bend just a slight bit lower. Now how I bend is I have my trusty Bic with of course my Mustang Bic and I'm just going to do a little heat and bend. Now I use, like we were talking about before, I use a solid rod. I don't use the tubing because sometimes when you heat up and bend, that tubing will kink. This will keep more of its shape when you bend it, so you don't want to put a lot of heat in these. I just like to touch it a little and then I start to bend. Kind of you see how something I'm not going to go in a complete 90-degree angle. I'll show you why. Just a little heat at a time. We're going to use my little references. I want to do that because what we want to do is we want to follow this contour. We want to come up straight and then angle like the roof, from the roof line to the top of the door, and where that is approximately, let's see, put this across in there, just doing some eagle eyeing. I would probably put my bend right about there. There are a lot of real tricky ways to do this. I am just doing the old eyeball engineering, little measurements here and there. More than likely it probably won't work out for me because I can't seem to get this enough heat in there. So look at that. So we want to lay that down. You see, this is straight across, this is straight up. We just want it to bend a little bit more, just a touch more. There we go. If we get too much, this stuff is very pliable. So we have basically got our angles that we want. So now we're going to hit this side here. This is the easy. Once you get this side, then you got to mirror this side and make sure everything's square. Right below that line, you see I'm right, whatever your line was where you want your bend. And I was measuring that to the top of the bend, so you want to go just a little below. There we go. And now what I'm trying to do, using my little cutting board here, lots of times it's nice to draw out a jig and have pins. That's a good way to do it, but I'm just doing the quick roll bar thing. And you can see by my marks that they're pretty much right where we wanted them. Okay. And everything, laying it flat like this down, you can see that your bends are going both at the same ends. Like if you were to, you got to be careful of not having your, like if we were bending it to where, let's see if you can see this. I'll just twist it a little. Could be twisted where one is going one way or another. You don't want it to be like that. You want that to be nice and straight. And that's where you just do a little bending, a little heating, moving, and lay it flat down on your cutting pad, and use your gauges here, your grid pattern here to help you find everything right. So what we got now is, I'm going to flip around and take a look from here, because right at this mark right here is where the bend goes. So I'm seeing right about there. That's what's nice about this. This stuff bends on its own without heating up. But what you want to do a lot of the times is do your bend, then you hit it with the heat, and that'll keep the bend. Once that cools down, you got your bend. There we go. You can see I actually went a little too far. It's okay. Bend it out a little bit. There we go. This is the most tricky part of having a roll cage, because everything else kind of goes off of this main hoop. But once you get that main hoop looking right, now I'm going to go ahead and cut this baby. And it's a little you have to watch out, but we got it. I've showed this before. I just kind of will roll it a bit, get my cut long as I get it halfway there, and it breaks right off. There we go. We've got our roll cage. Let's see how I was. I kind of want it to be a little tight right there, and there we go. We've got our roll cage. It'll naturally fit right in there, and it looks pretty even. Let's pop it in there. Remember, you always want to have your glass in there too, because that affects the height of everything. You know, sits in there right. Your interior tub, and you have those bars across. And look what we got. Got ourselves a roll cage. Fits up in there. Does pretty nice. That'll work real nice. And so we got it up nice and high enough. You see in there it clears those runners for the glass that go across the headliner area up there underneath the roof, and we got ourselves a roll bar. At this point in time, the rest is really easy. You find a place where you want it. That's where you will glue it, and you just start taking your rod. And I'm just going to do with this one a very simple roll bar where I'm just going to have the two that go to the back. And there's a couple ways you can do it. You can actually have a physical hole in your back here, your rear firewall or whatever you have here, or you can just kind of cut it at an angle where it fits flush onto that and just goes up against that. I tend to like to just go up through a hole.
You're watching the Luka C channel on YouTube.
So right now you got that kind of sitting in there, and we kind of figure exactly where we want it to go. Make sure it's nice and straight. And then you just kind of take a look here. Want that to go right up against there at that point, and then come down through the back firewall right about there. So we know we're gonna have to drill some holes here, so let's do that. Okay, so we're gonna go in, we're gonna take a quick measurement here. We're gonna go in from the right at the edge there. Probably going to go in a scale 1 foot in. So I went ahead and I got my marks right there. I'm just going to go in. I'm going to go kind of at the angle of the way the bar is going to be passing through this, and I'm just going to hit it and just drill my pilot hole. I'm going to take a little bit bigger. It's not quite the size, just a touch bigger. Let's get a bigger hole going there, and you can just keep going up on your sizes of drill bits to get the size that we're going for, which you got a bit more to go. At this point, what I like to do is I will actually take my X-Acto knife, keep it at that angle, and I'll just kind of open the hole up a little bit, just a little bit bigger, and see how far we are. Almost there. I'm gonna take my rat tail file and I spin it the opposite way, like this way, like you're unscrewing something, because if you go this way it'll just want to be like a screw and just keep going that direction. This way, if you're going backwards, you can control how much you're grinding out of there. Let's see, do we have holes big enough to pass? Just keep testing it. You see I'm keeping it at the angle we're wanting to go, like really close to the angle, because you want that hole to be the angle that'll fit through. There you go. And it's a nice tight fit. Clean it up. We'll probably have to do a little touch up. Usually should do this before, whoops, sorry about hitting the camera. Usually should do this a little before you do the painting. This was kind of an afterthought. I didn't know I wanted to do this. Not too bad. Like I said, we'll have to touch it up. And look, there we go. Now I'm going to take care of the other side and on to the next step. Okay, now the next step we want to do is we're going to take this rod, see where it goes. We see the angle we got to go at, and I'm probably just going to cut the bar off right there, because it's just gonna, I don't have an opening trunk, so there's no need for it to go and terminate at the floor of the trunk. It just needs to go through that back firewall. So I'm just gonna cut this piece of rod here just by rolling it a little bit and scribing it, and it pops it just like that, nice and straight. Now here's the tricky thing. I am eyeball engineering this thing. I do that a lot, but we want that to be nice and straight up. We want to get an idea of the angle. We really don't need to cut this at an angle, because So we're going to go right up to the bar like that. It doesn't look like we need any angle. I think we just need to, what I call, and what is used in the fabrication world, doing roll cages and race cars and whatnot, and all kinds of pipe fitting, whatever, is fish mouthing. And I'll take that same rat tail file, I'll kind of hold it in place with my fingers here, and I'll just go like that. And you definitely want to have a rat tail file that's about the same circumference as the tubing that you're using. And let me blow it off. Look at that. We got ourselves what's called a fish mouth. And what that'll do for us is when we put this up into here, boom. Okay. Right. Let's try that again. Let's try this again. Go up there. It will fit right up to the roll bar. See, that fits real nicely. That's what we want. Next step is I'm going to use my Tamiya quick setting extra thin, but it's really good to make sure that your roll bar that you just made stays in its place where you want it. So we're going to take a little bit of tape here, kind of get it taped into place. So that's taped into place. We're going to stick this up through here, get our glue, get this little fish mouth, kind of put a drop of extra thin on there, and we can get this right up and butted. What I love about this stuff is it works real nice. It kind of starts to soften the styrene up and it'll stick, but it's still movable. You can kind of move it around and get it into the places you want. I'm going to go ahead and you holding this, you want that to be a T. So we have a, you see that? You want it to go across like a T. Once you kind of guide it with your fingers to keep it straight, you can step away from it and kind of watch how far you go down. And there we go. And then we look at it and we kind of want to make sure they're kind of going at the same angles and everything. And there you go. There is your roll bar. Pretty easy. Now, we're going to have to let this set up for a bit. So you don't want to pull it out of there. The next thing you want to do is, I think we're going to go with a bar from, you can't see through the tape there, but we're going to take and make another bar that goes from here down to the floor. And I think we have enough with this rod right here to do that. So we'll be right back and we'll take care of that part of it, but we're going to step away for a bit and let this dry. So now that we've got this all nice and set up and it's been hardened and glued real good, it's getting a little more steady in there. I'm going to do the shoulder bar or crossbar here. It seems like that is right where we want to go. That is 1, 2, 3, 4.5 feet in scale. In 24th scale, a ½ inch is 1 foot. We use our gauge right here that's on our mat. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4.5 feet. That seems like it's a little long, which is better to be long than short. I'm going to take just a little bit off. Okay, and you see, you want it to be just a little bit too large to fit in there. I think we can make it up with fish mouthing. Right, so we got our fish mouths right where we want it. And it's nice when you have it nice and tight. It kind of fits down in there. And we can take our Tamiya extra thin quick set and just drop it in there. And weld that baby together. That's what's nice. If you have it nice and tight, it holds it in place. It's set for you. We've got our 2 sidebars. Now, one thing that we're going for with this is this, it will be straight up and down and the floor straight. We got a perfect 90-degree angle. So I'm going to go ahead and use this right here to go by. At this point, take this all out. Slides. There we go. Okay, so now we want to see from the floor to there. How far is that? That is 24th scale feet would be 1.5 feet. So we have a perfect 90-degree angle here. We're going to want to go, that's 1.5 feet, right about there. So you can see here, right here, this represents the floor. This line represents the main hoop. That's right there from the floor there. That's 1.5 feet up. Put this piece right at the line and this piece right at that line, and then I can take my X-Acto knife and follow the line. I can cut it, the ends right off. See that end right there? That's the floor end. That right there is the hoop end. If you set it down on this deal right there, just to double check, there's the bar about 2.5 feet up the floor, and that should work out good. Alright, so this end here that goes onto the main hoop there, that's got to get fish mouth. We will fill that with our glue. Nice amount in there. We want to get this nice and straight like that. I'm going to stick it onto, see what we got going there. Looking pretty good. Let's get the other side on there. Gonna get it started. And there we go. We got our roll cage. Everything's all set. The glue is still kind of gooey here. The plastic is all gooed up. Felix is laughing. Let's go ahead and set it inside the interior here. There we go. And get set back into its place. And this is where we have opportunity to, because the glue is still got the plastic very mushy still, so let's make sure that that is at a perfect spot where we want that, and then we can kind of force that down where we want it, and that one where it needs to go. See that? We've got ourselves our roll cage exactly where we want it. I'm going to set this aside, let it set up, get all nice and hardened, pull this back out, and then we're going to paint it black and drop it back in. We'll see how it looks. Okay, we're all set. It's all painted. I just shot it with a spray can Tamiya semi-gloss black. I like that color a lot. It's just, the semi-gloss just has the right amount of sheen. I just love that stuff. That's also what's in the interior. I'll be doing a little bit of detailing to this interior just to make a few things pop. But we're going to do a test fit because I still got to do some interior work. Pretty much this thing fits in so tight, and we just get that in there right where we want it, right about there. And there you go. It pretty much sets in there without even gluing, and it's not going to move. I'll probably eventually tack it down when I get the seats and everything in there. But there you go. Really quick, simple roll cage. Let's kind of mock the car up a bit, and let's take a look and see what it looks like before the big reveal is tomorrow. So I got some work to do today on this thing. Anywho, so we've got the glass in there already. No matter what, there will be a reveal video tomorrow, no matter what. And because of that, we are just wanting to see how that roll cage looks in there. We're not interested in the whole overall appearance of the car yet. That's for tomorrow, but there you go. That's how the roll bar will look inside that car. Can you see that in there? We still got some painting to do and things to do, but there you go. Fits in there nice. Nice roll bar. There you go. What do you think? There we go. There's a good shot of it. Yep, so there you go. That is just wanting to do just a quick roll bar in a race car model. It's really simple. And that's what we do on this channel. We just love to share what we do because we have such a good time here. I can't see how not everyone has such a good time because we're just having such a ball. So with that being said, I got to ask you, why do we build model cars? Because they're fun, obviously. Even when we're stressed out, got to get this thing done in less than 24 hours. Wish me luck. We'll see you tomorrow, everyone. And here's the producers.